So welcome to the Money Pigs podcast. This is episode 11. I'm your host, William, or Best Dibs in A, and I'm with my two regular co-hosts, MOBA Champion, RL John, and Twerp78, Randy.
How's it going?
Howdy.
This is a little show where we get together, talk about Dawngate, mostly focusing on upcoming updates and the current updates and sort of the state of the game.
The state of the gate, if you will.
And so we haven't gone that direct with it because there's a lot of State of the Blank shows. So we're just the Money Pigs podcast named after a couple money pigs from the forest, the jungle, the woods.
I like that, though. State of the Gate is clever. We should just officially rename
It's good because it rhymes, except for the fact that there's like two other State of the Game podcasts.
I said that originally just like in jest. And I'm like, oh, that does sound way better than it should, though. Ugh.
It's like, and we can't
Someone's gonna do that, aren't they?
Can't copy the president, we can't be a State of the Union podcast. A soundbite of Dibs Ooga Booga and then like a full intro song. I do have Desecrator's humming file, and I have been playing around with it a little bit.
No,
you finally got that?
I want Desecrator's misogynistic comments that he says toward Ella, because every time he says that, I just break down and start laughing in the middle of the game. He's like, females should be quiet.
McKellar gives some sass for it as well, but it's just like,
the
game's out of hand. Like, there's so many quotes where it's like, I listen to it and it's like, did that really just happen? What does Kendra say when she respawns? It's like, I wonder if my corpse has been molested or something. It's like, something a little off. Where am I?
It's good though. I like that they're doing some fun adult stuff with the game.
I do like it. It's not
a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's like, wow, this is like actual interaction, and the characters feel like they have backstory other than just like fluff and rainbows and raindrops
But yeah, it catches you off guard. It's not like super campy, like your Garen Jarvan style, victory and honor and
the
little soldiers
puns.
room. Yeah.
Vladimir, oh my god.
Just like, Desecrator's like super misogynist. Like, yeah, okay, that's weird, and Kendra's afraid of being molested and says she likes having threesomes after getting triple kills. Like, that's cool. It's just
she does say that.
I think the threesomes on the assist, isn't it? Or is it triple kills?
I think it's a triple kill.
Cool.
Some sort of triple kill. She makes a three-way comment. I think it's a little more subtle than I presented it. But getting out of the fluff, we did have a big patch last week, bringing the new shaper Raina, and she's a fun melee tank archetype. I've seen her get some action in the jungle and the lane. I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts on that were.
Well, I'm super excited about Raina. I think she's, they've done a lot of new and interesting things with the game, but Raina's the first one that I've just looked at and been like, wow, that's new. That's something else, right? Her strafe mechanic, it's such a small change. It's like an animation that strafes, but it just blew my mind, and it just continues to blow my mind when I see her playing a game. It's just a completely new and unique type of play style.
The first thing I noticed about her, just initial impressions, was I was so impressed with how fluid she felt.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like when she was auto attacking things, it looked good. It felt nice. Like all of her moves and animations just felt, I don't know, it's got a big thing with me. I have to just kind of an intangible way a shaper feels for me to really get into it and want to play them a lot. So, that was big for me. That just initially when I picked her up, it was just, she felt easy to play, natural, and I got everything about her right from the get-go, and it felt good. It just felt natural.
She feels like a tank too, right? Just the way that shield forms up when you pop
the shield is just so sexy.
That stance, it's fantastic. I don't even care about the rest of her kit. Her little bash is cool, her hammer's fine, but that shield is just it's the bread and butter. It's
the shield and it wiggles when you walk, and the way she faces the person she has targeted and walks backwards facing them. I'm like, oh, Raina, oh, you so beautiful.
It just looks nice. That's what I mean. It was just feels nice.
Some of the original shapers, like Petrus, are kind of they're like, oh, that's
Petrus
cool.
isn't original.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess that's so. But this is the one. This is
Petrus
is
is
the WoW
second
one.
release, man.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's why we have no spotlight for him. But there's
eggs.
There's I don't know. There's something special, Raina. She just blows my mind every time I see her.
So happy about that roast and talking about Raina's shield. Raina's her shield is so adorable.
Yeah. Like if this is the start of like things to come, like I'm pretty
Especially just in terms of like the quality of the animations we're going to be seeing on all of the shapers, and just the interactions that are continually added. It looks really good.
yeah.
What
And
I
like
really like about her too is that I like her passive is like a sneaky "you cannot kill me" kind of thing. Like you get a Reina down and you're chasing her and she's like trying to get to a tower to live and you got like 2-3 people chasing her. She just
Yeah.
turns around like one auto attack and it's like 100 health and like she just keeps staying alive. You
Yep.
just cannot finish her. I do like her passive too. I think like there's a sneaky way you could like build her where you just use that passive and you can like 1v1 anyone just by fact of you don't die. You don't
Well,
do any damage, but they
it's-
just can't kill you.
It's crazy in lane because at level 1 with just like a life 2-pot start, I believe you get 17 on hit with your healed. So it's hard to really bully her out of lane because she has some of the most sustain, and with items that are so viable on her like creation and rampancy and all that, she gets a lot of life. Creation really helps with that. Rebirth, just glory. She builds tanky and she gets all that life back, and she really can 1v1 anyone when she has like 4 or 5 items. Like it's almost impossible to shred her, even with like broken build AD carry. It's hard to cut her down if she can stay on you, which she doesn't have a really hard time with. Her E, her shockwave slows you, her Q knocks you up, so she's got a lot going for you just in terms of hugging you and being able to sit on and get that life drain. So just in terms of a selfish way, I think she's really good at healing. I wish she offered a little more defense to your team, but just the lane presence she does bring with shockwave, like pre-level 10, level 11, her shockwave can just bully anyone out of lane, which is something I definitely noticed on.
She was born for tactician.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she makes really good use of it.
Her little E, her like poke, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but I found myself, because there was a Reina in every single game, I was always starting Hunger, because like she'd just pop it every few seconds. I'd have to just auto attack to stay in lane, because if I tried to trade back with her, it'd hit her for like 50. It was kind of tough to lane against, but I don't know. It's hard to talk about her balance because I mean the game is a little early.
I think the balance we can talk about it is that the range on her E is 550, which is the same range as ranged shapers. So the biggest trade you're going to get in as a range carry is probably a 1-to-1 trade. She's going to shockwave you. You might hit her. If you're a melee in lane, Reina's going to just out-trade you every time. If you're melee trading with her, she's got the heal. If you're trying to do like a range ability trade with her, she's got shockwave at the full auto attack range. So I think if maybe the range was brought back 50, so she had to get just outside of her comfort zone to be able to get that harass off on range ADs, I think it would feel a little better, because it was just really constant harass in lane to the point where maybe it only chunks you for 5 to 10% of your health every time she hits it, but when she's hitting that every time it's up, you know, on a almost 10-second cooldown there in the mid levels, it's significant. It will start bullying you out of lane, and you're not really going to be able to trade her. She throws her shield on you, walks up to you, throws E, walks back, waits for the cooldown. So I think it is really good bullying. If the range was maybe a little less, we could see it, so she wasn't always consistently out trading the physical range carries.
Yeah, what I found the most egregious about her is it seemed like her discipline, like her well of discipline, her resource, just seemed to last a little too long for how effective her tanking ability was. Like there's quite a few.
Yeah, that is the problem. I think her resources completely fudged. I don't. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, the fact that it's a shield resource, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, she used it to cast her abilities. Like what the fuck?
I like that her abilities regen it. I just find like when it's up, it just like even when she's not doing anything, just flat out tanking, it seems to just train. It drain rather, just too slow.
You can keep it up for like 30 seconds. It's insane. And you can keep casting your other abilities while it's up and get more discipline and extend the range.
I don't know what the trade to that is. Like, do abilities generate half when her shield is up, or do they gain an additional effect and start costing discipline when her shield is up? I mean,
yeah, there needs to be more with that.
I think it's a good mechanic as it is, but it could be explored further to give her some interesting
Something really
play.
unique.
Yeah, just something that, makes it easy to use, hard to master.
I
Sort
like
of
the
mechanic.
idea that when it's up, they do more damage, but that now they cost discipline. Like maybe her E, because like people in chat are talking about the range on her E being too much. So maybe she only gets the splash effect from it while the shield is up. You know what I'm saying? Something like that would be cool. And maybe add like a move speed slow on her Q when she
Yeah.
hits. You know what I mean? It's because the knockback really isn't that great. It's only good if you're on the other side of them. Or, if you have an angle on them. If you're chasing somebody, you don't really want to do it, even though they kind of get, like, stutter-stepped a little bit when you knock them back because they don't really do anything during the, like, animation of it. But it doesn't feel that great
Right.
of anything more than just, like, a gap close. So if you were going to do that where, like, you make her W have extra effects on her other abilities but then have them cost discipline, I think that's something that definitely should be explored. That sounds pretty awesome.
What I would like to see, like her Q, what I really like it's an application of is just like a peeling type ability. Someone tries to charge on your carry, and you sort of just bash them away, like especially against melee. Like that feels like nice and effective. But sort of what's Organic's talking about in chat here is like the W doesn't feel tactical enough. Like it doesn't feel like you're making tactical use. It feels like you're just pressing W and it's on for like the entire fight. Like very rarely did I see it going down super early into the fight. Whereas, like, I wouldn't mind seeing something kind of like an increasing drain cost. Like, the longer you had it up, the faster it would drain. So you get a little more windows to fight into her. But also maybe bonus damage when she's, like, facing away from you. So, like, you really prioritize, like, how good she is or how good you are at, like, positioning. But, like, as it is right now, it just felt a little too much like press and forget and just win. But I didn't play as her. I was playing against her, so it's hard to say exactly. It might have felt to me like, her shield was always up, but there might have been like timing windows when I just wasn't paying enough attention. It's hard for me to say.
My biggest problem with her shield was I would put it up on a target in the beginning of a fight, and then I wouldn't realize that target died, and I'd be like, "Oh shit, my shield's not back up. Gotta cast it again on somebody."
And it's got a low cooldown too. I think it's unless I'm mistaken, it's a second and a half.
It's not a cooldown.
Noticeable.
It's just
that is one
there
thing
to prevent like spamming it around.
It should be. There should be exactly like you said. Like you should be rewarded for when you use it, and like you shouldn't be able to just turn it off and on just to keep yourself alive whenever you want. Like nah.
I think it's also interesting that she would take more damage when her shield is up and active, and when you're hitting her from behind, she's taking X amount of bonus damage just to really incentivize having that good positioning. Also, it currently it's a really selfish shield, with the exception of like certain abilities like Kendra's ult. I don't even think it really mitigates the damage if it bounces to another target, but I mean it certainly mitigates the overall damage that someone gets out. But it just feels like a selfish shield, whereas I'd like to see it more as a team shield. Like I put this up and I can block auto attacks, but I've talked with John about this. Most or skill shots, not auto attacks. Excuse me. Currently, most skill shots pass through, so like Varian's Q goes through. It does do less damage, but that W doesn't mitigate that further. Maybe make it count as an extra target on pass-throughs or something to really incentivize getting in the way. And then you've got other skill shots, like Zeri Q, Dibs Q, which you just put on the ground. And the only one that's really a true skill shot that hits anything is Amaranth's E. And it's just interesting that there's not many blockable skill shots. So hopefully in the future, Raina will serve a better purpose as, a meat shield of, hey, let me, get in front of you and block all these skill shots. But right now, people with skill shots can hit them regardless to the fact if Raina is standing in front of her AD carry and doing a good job with positioning.
Now, like, I don't fully agree with you. But I do partially, right? I mean, there's certainly lots of things that she doesn't do jack crap about, right? Kel's going to charge through ult, it's not going to matter. Varian's going to Q through. There's lots. Amaranth ultimate's going to go through. She's not going to do much. And even with Nissa's ult, she's going to, barely mitigate it. But I really do think that as the game sort of continues and they add more pass-through, that the power of her, shielding her allies is going to go up. And I think of the abilities that she can block, like Amaranth's E and splash attacks like Fate, she does a really effective job at doing. Fate, I know.
We'll get to Fate in a bit. I do think Fate is a really good point because she does have all that damage reduction, and Fate will only pass off X amount of the damage done to the main target, but that's not really my issues with Fate. We'll get onto that here
now,
soon.
I'd like to add, just a slight design idea. Like it'd be kind of neat if people standing behind her shield took less damage than AOE, or took less damage from AOE, or something like that. Like she could actually shield allies from spells. Just tossing stuff out, right? Because as you said, right now you put up that shield, you're unkillable. But a lot of the abilities in the game it's like, well, I can't kill her, but I'll kill the other person. And short of zoning, which I mean, she is a good zoner. It's not as effective as one would expect from like this bastion of the north. I think is one of her abilities.
The Bastion of the North. Raina in jungle versus lane. I saw it played both ways, and my issue is I think she's too good in the lane to really even consider putting her in the jungle.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my impression with it. The first game I played as her, I played in the jungle, and it wasn't an issue of sustainability or clear speed or anything like that. It was just like, it was a safe clear. You don't have to worry about getting invaded because nobody can 1v1 you. So it's like, but you're just wasting all of that harass potential in lane. And not only that, but like her ganks aren't like the best in the world because she doesn't really have hard CC until she has her ult.
Sick, yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's pretty much that for that discussion.
Yeah, I don't.
There's
Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say there's not too much to add. Obviously, she's much better in lane, but the nice thing about the flexibility of the meta in the game is that your team needs a jungler. She can fit that role without any difficulty. Like she's certainly adequate, right? She's a B tier type jungler. Like yeah, she'll do it. She'll be fine. She won't have any problems. She can clear speed fine. Like maybe she might not be like super optimal, but it opens up stuff like running some interesting kill lane in one of the lanes where you want your tank to come from the jungle. So I mean, I'm happy that her kit allows her to do it. And I think the sustain that they put in her kit, while good in the jungle, is just better for dueling than the jungle sustain.
I mean that's the thing I really like about Dawngate is I haven't seen anyone who cannot clear the jungle other than the support and mage archetypes. Like physical range carries can do it, tanks can do it, bruisers, speed bruisers, attack bruisers. I mean there's no jungler archetype, but certainly it feels like it's open to anyone getting in the jungle, and everyone has potential, and they bring something different to the jungle. I mean, Raina's clear speed is certainly slower than the speed bruisers.
Yeah.
But it's the same reasoning as Desecrator. It's just so good in lane. Why would you put them in the jungle when they've got that poke, that zone, and that protection?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just all comes down to team comp and play style. Like I like that she's flexible. So I mean, she might be A in the lane, B in the jungle, but A, B, but whatever. She's good.
Not sure if Canada jokes.
No,
So-
tier list joke. Tier list joke.
I know it's tier list jokes, but I wasn't sure if it was like a meta Canada joke. You're like, hey,
Oh wait, no, that's not.
hey,
no,
she can be in the jungle.
Whatever. Did we want to hop through the patch notes?
Yeah,
The
we
rest
can
of the
just
patch
take a
notes
look at
briefly?
the patch notes. I mean, just cruising through things. Amaranth's Q.
You mentioned
I've
the
noticed
Amaranth
it.
Q.
I noticed it only as like a little hang time. Like I E someone and then I Q someone, and normally it's just like I Q while walking forward. And this week it was sort of like I Q, I like stuttered, and then I moved forward. So it was noticeable, and I think it gives people a chance to just sort of run away from her a bit. It was just, I think it was more aesthetically pleasing than anything. Like it felt like she was actually casting.
It indirectly makes it a little easier to cast her combo sometimes. Just like the spacing of the E. If you mess up the timing a little bit, because the Q is going to take longer to cast, it's going to land your combo a little easier because your E's already in the air.
Oh, okay. So you think that it gives you, it
think-
accounts for
I-
the E travel time to give you max damage on.
That's
your
why
Q,
I'm
or-
suspecting this fix is to do with the ability to like Q then E and have your Q land before the bubble hits. So I think like the delay. I mean, I might be talking straight my butt here, but like I suspect that that's sort of where it came in from a usability perspective.
Desecrator got slightly changed. Ult with a % more of damage. I think Desecrator felt just as strong as last week, even with the slight E nerf with root down a bit, slow down a bit, damage down by 15 across every level. I still think Desecrator felt really strong.
I think Desecrator is a good Raina rather is a good substitution for Desecrator. So like I think by toning him down and introducing another heavy CC tank, they've sort of taken him out of like must pick like super tryhard CC bot, and been like now there's some alternatives.
But I mean, Raina doesn't have that much hard CC. I think she's much more of a harass tank and like stuff like that. Like Desecrator has CC. Raina, she's soft CC. She's got like a little weenie knockback and a slow that's really better for the constant harass than it is for really chasing people down.
The thing about the weenie knockback that makes me like I've never been like, oh, I've been so outzoned by this knockback. The thing that makes me so furious about it is the amount of times it's prevented me from popping Bastion. It's like just that little knockback in the animation. I'm just like, oh, I'm so lit, and I'm knocked back, and I can't pop Bastion. I can't pop any of my spells. I was like, ooh, Raina, I hate you so much. That's what I really like. My
There's a
jimmies
lot
are
of
so rustled by that.
there's a lot of subtle power and stuff like that. Like when people like, if Freya jumps onto your tank and pops her ultimate and you're not in range of the fear, or who's another Cal with his stun, if you can counter initiate with it, it's enough to give your carry room. Obviously you're not getting the AoE knockup and root of Desecrator, but the cooldown's also half as long. So like while you might not get all that upfront power, it's just alternative. It's like you get 2 knockbacks instead of 2 root, or instead of 1 root. So it's just different ways of presenting similar levels of power, in my opinion. But like Dibs was saying on the stream, Waystone Dibs she's sort of in between Kel and Desecrator's tank archetype playstyles.
Right.
Who else? Petrus. Petrus got buffed.
I like Petrus buff. I thought it was necessary. I mean, the fact that the percentage health is up to what, 15%, like that's starting.
He's doing damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people weren't picking him, so I don't know if this is like an incentivized buff. Like, we're gonna buff him a bit, and people are gonna say, "Hey, look at these numbers. We should pick Petrus."
I suspect it's not an incentive, but rather a win rate type thing.
Because
Like,
he
I
was
think
certainly
just
his
weak
cleared.
sauce.
I mean, he was dying in the jungle before, and this ability to just like take Q and kill big buff camps a little safer is a good change, as well as with what E damage is up with power ratio up. So I think this helps Petrus's clear overall because he was a little lackluster in the jungle before.
I definitely noticed the buff on his Q. I mean, 15% is nothing to sneeze at. It was very, very nice. Like, I played like 1 game with Petrus just because lols. And but I was like, oh wow, I don't feel like I hit with tissue paper anymore, and this feels nice.
Yeah, I mean it was a needed buff. Like his ultimate, or not his ultimate, sorry, his E only is good on paper. Like this spin's like, oh look at that damage, like 570, but like you get out of it like in a blink of an eye. So it's nice to see the damage buffed. And his theoretical damage is actually really good. If you land the shockwave into a full spinny thing and knock somebody into a wall, yeah. Plus you get that you do get that insect Lee Sin style play where you can stun flash or stun blink ult people into your team. Like I think he's more fun than people give him credit for.
The thing for Petrus is his punch should never really be used as a Lee Sin kick. A lot of people make the comparison between it, but really it's more of a Poppy body slam. Like it's the same thing. Sure, you can push someone around a bit with Poppy, but if the whole objective is to push them into the wall. Same thing with Petrus. They don't really go like flying hundreds of units into your team. They get like shoved a good distance. But more than anything, the damage, like if you just Q ult, if you can make a jump,
you gotta save it.
And you can, it's situational. If you can save it and you can QR squishy, they're dead. They pretty much die. Because most people, they're not going to be stacking health or resists on those like purely squishies like Amaranth and all the physical range carries. Like QR them, they're toasty.
That's what I did the one time I played him. I waited on the side, waited for Amaranth to cast all of her spells, and then I just came like spinning in like an idiot and just punched her into the wall and queued her, and I was like, bye bye, fish lady.
So it is situational, but you just have to hold it for those situations. Because it's going to net you kills in the end.
There's certainly going to be situations where the wall damage is more preferable. There's situations where you can catch somebody and really like get them out of position. I mean, that's the nice thing about knockbacks, is you can use them in different ways.
There's just so many walls in the map. It's like the jungle itself is very snaky. With like lots of little.
It's more of a guardian base or a lane tactic.
Even lane is pretty narrow.
It's long enough.
Well, it's
or wide enough rather. Especially It depends, right? The middle section of the map is pretty wide. If you're right next to a binding, it's obviously
Right.
considerably narrow. The Spirit Wells is probably the most open section of the entire map.
Right, but
other
even
than
all
maybe the
those are.
community.
I
Yeah.
mean, I guess if they're standing right in the dead center of the spirit
Yeah.
well, but if you just like start chasing them, they'll chase themselves into a wall probably. There's lots of walls everywhere. So, my opinion with Petra is hold it. I like the damage change. How about that Volek 40 attack range? I know
I
last
miss
week
it.
Acids definitely noticed it. Like there were times when he was coming out and queuing someone from like halfway across the map, basically. So like that 40 range felt like a lot.
Yeah,
With
the
the
range
clear-
on melee abilities is always going to be like this weird perception thing. Like week one Cerulean, I was like, how is he flipping me for so far? Like he should be on top of me because I'm so used to Singed. So like getting queued by a melee from like, well, I guess what it would have been at the time, 210 range. I mean that's it's pretty tough.
Pretty tough.
It's a tough sell. You're like, how did that happen? Like I know he's got a big sword, but I'm way over here. That's half my ranged range. Marksman range, whatever.
Lots of good spell changes this week. Bastion got like one less. And don't really notice it. New spell Blitz. But do you guys want to run through the rest of the spells and come back to Blitz?
I mean, I think,
The rest of the spells are
Let's
like,
just run through it really quick. Dispel
there's
shows that
not
it
much
doesn't
to-
do suppression, so that's fun. And Stagger does
Stagger's
a little less damage. And when you're point blanking them with it, they're not slowed for a whole second. But Stagger's still a really good pickup. I certainly wasn't straight grabbing it since, that 40 damage level 1 really gave you a lot of kill potential in lane. I mean,
yeah.
20's not
I
as much.
understand the gimmick from using like the 5 stagger strategy for the damage, but for me it was much more about the slow ever than it was about the damage.
Yeah.
Like I know I've gotten kills with stagger as like a last hit just for like the fun of it, but like dude, it's the slow that makes it good. Like I don't care about the damage.
But
like,
now
whatever.
it sets itself apart from Wither because Wither's more used for those point blank situations and especially like melee versus melee sort of fights, whereas Stagger's good at sort of shooting someone at a distance and giving you the time to run over to them, whereas Stagger's for chasing, Wither's for fighting and team fighting. So
Well, Stagger's a good engage too because the range is longer than Wither. I think a lot of the changes in this patch with the spells and the roll system were intended to reduce cheese comps. Like your guys' patented 5 predator.
Predator's
5 stagger
not a
comp.
cheese; it's a lifestyle.
Time
Dead
out.
now.
Time out.
Predator's deadator.
Running 5
It's
Deadator.
dead.
Deadator.
Pred is dead.
Predator
5
is deadator.
running 5 predator is a bit of a bit of a cheese comp, obviously, because like I mean, if you don't win early, you lose, right?
No,
So
no, don't
Stop,
make me defend.
stop.
No,
In a
you will
fair
not be the
competitive
voice of
match-
reason in this
in
job.
a fair competitive match against an equally skilled team, if you do not win early as predator, you're going to be outfarmed, and barring any enemy throws, you're going to lose.
I think
But people always throw.
people.
Of
always
course,
do.
of
That's
course.
what Predator
The
was
the
full.
parasite throws. You capitalize on that. Suddenly your team's just like made it rain 1,000 gold off every kill, and it's just
Oh.
like
Now, so
I would have
yeah,
50. I would have 50 CS and have the most gold
Stacks
in the
on
game.
stacks.
Oh my god!
I know. So their change was aimed against getting rid of 5 predator comps, snowballing off teams that weren't as good, because what it used to do is every assist would be 100 gold. So when you get a kill, it was 500 gold bounty. So a kill would be worth 300 base gold, like 150. I'm just using league values, so that'd be 450 gold plus 5, so it'd be 950 gold per kill. Like, is my math checking out here?
yeah, it was
Which
it was
is too
about
high.
like what we would do: take 5 predators, hard invade the jungle, catch the one person wandering through there, we kill it, and suddenly your team's up 1k gold, which, as we all know in MOBAs, 1,000 gold starts to, get you into a place where you can get a significant lead. And when you're getting that before minions have even spawned, things get out of hand really quickly. So I agree
Now-
with the Predator change. I think
the
it's good with kills. Wait, we're still on spells. Where's Blitz?
No, we're jumping
No,
around.
We're on
Predator.
Predator.
was right
We're
there.
jumping around.
I'm
It's
so
right there.
upset.
The
I
second
can't
thing
get
is
into this.
the-
This is like a whole separate podcast episode.
The
Yeah,
old,
listen.
the old
We're gonna have the
Predator-
memorial for Predator in the after
And
show.
don't even get me
I'm
started
gonna light
on
a
Fate.
candle.
The old Predator was too good at pressing an advantage on a weak member. Now, this is something you talked about that you kind of wish, I think that you wish stayed, but like the old style, you could find someone that was behind and just completely camp them, like they're 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, and you were still stacking bonuses off them, which I think is a little not fun for that player and maybe a little overpowering. Now, like in League, obviously there's and Dongate, when you kill people, there's a gold detriment. Like the first kill's worth 300, second kill's worth like 150. I don't know the values, but it decays, right? So now that Predator's been changed to a bonus based off the reward, it stops the snowball in that regard. But you still get full XP, I think.
Yeah, well, it's 35% bonus XP before, which was nice and added up over time. It was the Vim that was really good because, you get 2 kills and, lane is free, you're getting destruction earlier, assists felt better.
Now, I will say that I don't like taking Predator now because I need to get my kills to get all the gold. And that's why I think they're in a really tough spot design-wise, because getting an assist now feels bad to me. And like I understand they're trying to address the problem of 5 people getting assist being hard, but like 1 person getting assist, I feel kind of crappy not getting that mega
Right,
bonus.
because now it's only giving like 5 to 15 gold, even on a high money assist.
Yeah,
I think it's more than that. But
No, they ruin the assist
Like,
gold.
let's say-
It's like non-existent.
What do you want to call it? Like, do you want to call base value 300? Because I know that certain kills are even
I only
worth
know the
200.
league values, unfortunately.
Also,
which-
the assist window is 5 seconds. If you don't get a hit within 5 seconds, you lose
really?
the assist. So even I think that is something that might be getting addressed soon. Please, Waystone, 10-second windows. It's hard to get assists as it is. Like, you have to be like hitting them within the past. Like if you hit someone, they run away for 5 seconds, somebody finishes it, you don't get the assist, you miss out on your 7 Vim. It feels terrible. Assist gold's so tiny, it's so sad. Let's call it 50 times 0.35.
it's
you're
not
getting-
50. It's got exactly half of the kill bounty.
Yeah.
So, if assuming 300 per kill, that would be 150, and then 35 would be just above 50. It'd be like 55 gold. But then if you were on a kill streak, if you got someone on like a 2 kill streak, you get bonus.
There's got the gold formula somewhere in the old patch notes. Let me pull that out while you talk about
somewhere. Yeah, the sort of like my ideal situation is that there's a Predator kill bonus and there's a Predator assist bonus, and it's divided by the number of Predators, so that if I'm just running 1 Predator on my team, I would still get a really good bonus off an assist. But if I ran like 3 Predators, we'd have to share the wealth. But like I don't know
That's a cool
how.
idea.
But I don't know how intuitive that it kind of adds like
Well,
this
then it
Predator
almost forces
descriptive.
you to have someone in the Predator role, which kind of is meh. But
Yeah,
it. My
but it's not that much different than before though, right? Where before
Well,
it
that's
was.
the thing. I was with Crisis Games just brought it up. Like Predator on Kindra is kind of a must, and I agree with them there. I'm like, yeah, I was going through shapers of who like I like to run Predator now on, and like she's one of the only ones. It's like her, Cerulean, and like Amaranth. I'm like those 3. I would still run Predator on, but that's pretty much it.
The people that are going to be getting the kills, now obviously Kindra's got the resets and she's jumping on low health targets to get her resets. I mean, people like that. Now, if they had someone that did execute style damage, like bonus damage against someone low in health, like that would be good. But it's hard to justify like Predator on say Desecrator because you're not going to get the kill, right?
I think the issue with
No, I wouldn't do it on Desecrator.
the issue with Predator is it almost takes 5 mana ranged comps or a static meta where it's like you put 2 people in this lane, 1 person in that lane, 1 in the jungle, 1 here, and it would be one of those defined things like you put your Predator in the top lane and you feed him all the kills, and that's the kill lane, and everybody plays this. Because currently if you just say duo queued and you were a Predator, people would be upset if you tried to say, hey, I'm going to be the only Predator on the team,
Predator
I'm
McKellar.
going to take all of your kills, you're all just going to get assists, deal with it, I'm going to carry you. So I'm concerned of Predator getting into that sort of role,
that is a good
whereas
point.
before Predators were just like, I get assist, it's still worth good money, it's worth the same sort of XP as before. But to say this is
in fact, you were like, "Oh, dude, come in here, get in on this kill. You want this assist money?"
It's definitively worth more to me to get the kill. And again, it's the same thing with the sharing the split. I like the point like where you can take 2 tacticians and just because we attack the same target twice, I'm not suddenly going to get 7.5 gold. You know, I don't want to say, hey, get out of here, I need the gold. You guys shouldn't be taking any of the assist pool. You know, feed it all to me, sort of thing. I'm hesitant to those. I think, you know, just some tuning. You know, maybe 70% assist gold.
I mean that's sorry, like I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
You're talking about like extra bonuses. Like I mean there's obviously a lot going on with Predator. You get bonus XP, your Spirit Well harass is bigger, but you know there's because it's so early, like, well, even if it was a release game, like there's still stuff you could add. Like let's say Predators get a temporary buff after getting a kill, where like, you know, for chaining kills together or something like a team fight. Like, oh, Predators gain like a 10% power buff after getting a kill, or do something crazy, right?
Right,
like,
and that was going to be my next point. Is I'd like to maybe even
I stole your point.
See Predator
See
Predator experimented with different things. You know, try it out with like a Magi's role. I don't know how well that would work, but like every time you get a kill, you get like 5 power, 5 haste, or 2 of each, or you know, something like that. Getting 10 health.
Stacks.
Yeah, like you get Predator stacks, something like that.
You stole my Predator
or,
stack.
Or like John was saying, a temporary buff off of kill or assist to help your team snowball around in team fights. I mean,
it'd be super.
I was thinking like something like the Warwick or Bloodseeker passive, where you get that sense and you can see low health targets and get increased move speed at them.
Yeah.
Just, you know, something like that. You know, chase those low health targets, because it's really hard to balance somebody that gets XP. None other roles get XP.
Snowballing in general is hard to balance.
You can't dispute that. So it's like it's walking a fine line where you say, hey, this has the potential to be as good as Gladiator, but it's like, why would I go this when I can just run Gladiator and have someone Tactician support me? So that's sort of my concern right now, is why am I going to run Pred when, you know, Gladiator Tactician is a sure thing? Or, I mean, you can even sort of dispute taking it to jungle, so your ganks, you know, if you get the kill, it gets you the XP, but even still, that lotto for 20 gold in the jungle every 4 creeps, like, you're going to be making 20 gold off of assists, so you might as well be making that Vim off of camps and just clearing faster, and the XP in the woods is going to help you more.
That brings me back to my week 1 problem with Predator, where I was like, why care about kill bonuses when I can just be a really consistent, safe jungler with hunger, or a hunter rather, where like, you know, I'm getting my consistent gold, I'm getting my consistent clear speed, and because I'm faster than the Predator, I hit 6 first, and then I get kills simply because I'm level 6 and I have my ultimate, and the Predator jungler doesn't have their ultimate. And plus, you can counter jungle. I mean, you're killing the creeps faster, you're going to get the buffs faster. Like, it's from a jungling perspective, I think Predator's a really tough sell.
Yeah, it's hard to balance. I mean, there's other ways I could get around it by saying flat XP or Vim values instead of making it percentage based. Like, so you limit it to say, if I'm level blank, how much XP do I get on kill? Or if they're, and based off of their level at percentages, it'd be a lot of math to get it into a balanced place where you're saying, at any point on a kill, he's going to get 10% of his next level in XP. Or, you know.
Well, the XP bonus is multiplicative, right? So if you're like 3 levels behind and you kill someone that's higher level, you get like a full level. You get
a great bonus with it, so it helps you from getting behind. And that was a strength of Predator before, was it was really hard to get ahead, because once you started to get ahead, the Predators would just kill you, and they'd make it back because of the XP difference and the multiplier. I mean, 35% is huge. Like 30% more XP on a kill is pretty it's significant for sure, but so I think Predator was just in a rough place this last patch, and the fact that my match history is pretty much 200 games of exclusively playing Predator Amaranth and exploiting its strength, I was just like, I'm gonna go Gladiator Michaela. How do I right click things? Hi, this is right clicking with Baby Cat.
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing. I switched Shady Carry this week, but I mean, just sort of to close on Predator. There's definitely a perception now that it's super weak, but I mean, we don't have the data, so like, I mean, they're not going to release the data, obviously, but I wish I was a fly in the wall that I could be like, oh, hey, Predator still got like the highest win rate, or like the highest average gold, or like I'd be interested to see sort of how it plays out after the nerfs, because there's always like an anecdotal experience, right? You guys used to win a ton of games with your like pre-made Predator comp, where now it's been directly nerfed. So like I'd be kind of curious to see how the nerfs play out across just the average player base, right? From your diamonds to your coppers. Like I'd like to see it, but obviously
Yeah.
we won't. But
Um,
I wish I could.
I mean, I guess just my final closing on Predator is I'd like to see it, experimented with, give it some different passives, change things up, maybe even say, hey, this week we're changing Predator entirely to, get some mass telemetry on this sort of
Boom.
Predator rollout, so we can, see
That is
how that
kind
goes.
of I would like to see Waystone adopt that thing. Like if they do have like there's no PBE for this game, so like
Yep.
it's still in closed beta. It's still, so people expect this to be such a finished product already, and it still like irks me. But like I would like them to just throw out, be like, listen guys, we totally changed Predator this weekend. It might be broken as all hell, but we decided to do it because hello beta. So like deal with it. Bitch about it all you want on the forums, and we'll
Right.
we'll approach this again next week.
I know they run a lot of internal tests. I'm sure they test out a lot of these crazy ideas
Yeah.
and different iterations of everything. But maybe if something's actively working for them in internal, I'd like to hope that they wouldn't be scared to throw it on the live client to get some telemetry with it to just change it, even if it's dramatic. I think just for the sake of the fun of the game, because currently Predator's going in a direction where just saying if you're not getting kills, you're having a bad time and you're angry with your teammates. I mean, it's concerning to me. More than my love of just like snowballing with Predator is. I think in terms of enjoyment of the game and, just how roles play.
So, I mean, I will say it'd be certainly cool, and I think a lot of the hardcore fans of the game, like the people that are on IRC, Reddit, etc., every day, would appreciate that. I would be scared of them doing it because everybody that comes in for the beta for that weekend, and if something's like super wacky, they'll never play the game again because they'll be like, "This is the worst game ever."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
So,
saying super wacky, but I mean just
Yeah, it's
just
a hard line. Right?
different.
It's a hard balance.
So
Yeah.
I think making drastic differences, I mean, and by that I mean just completely changing how a role or a loadout works, or introducing new loadouts and removing them. I think, same thing with spells, adding spells, getting telemetry for it, and removing it for the next week. I think it just needs to be, upfront with, this is going to be gone next week, do not get emotionally attached to this and upset if it's, doesn't make it to the live client next week,
So,
sort of thing.
speaking of massively drastic changes, how about that Welo reset?
Welo reset. I heard
I-
a lot of people QQing about it.
I was not happy. I had a bad time on Friday.
You had a
but-
bad time. I did
Well,
not
look.
have the thing with matchmaking is it needs to be separated into a fives queue and
Yeah.
something solo duo. I don't know how you work with threes and fours, but currently
I would-
it's just I'm used to running the choo-choo freeload train, like 5 people, you win every game. I know there were other people running choo-choo freeload trains all week, and I sort of, jousted with them. In all chat, I would even like type chew in the lobby chat to see if I was against a pre-mate or not, just so I could
And then you
mentally
dodge
prepare
'cause
myself.
you're a pussy.
No, you don't dodge. You man up and you pick something silly and you run around the map and you cry as you just get stomped by the freeload train. So. Oh, matchmaking, but Welo sets as well. If everybody just solo queues, because it had been a couple weeks of matchmaking and things were finally getting sorted. People were getting into the elos and brackets they were supposed to be, and I know a lot of people were upset that it's like, oh, I'm back with the bronze baddies again. Waystone, I hate you so much. This isn't for any sort of cool features you're adding in the future. Like, ooh, this is clearly just so you can spite us and take our cups. We hate you so much. And it's like, no, please, friends, we need this.
Like, this is the thing, like, half those cups were earned in, like, custom games and stuff. Like, people are just so sensitive. It's just because they come from other MOBAs, and they're just, like, they want to, like, latch on to the same things that they latch on to in other MOBAs. It's like, guys, this is Dawn Gate. This is new.
I think it was a rough week. I mean, I had a rough time in matchmaking as well, getting a couple bad games, but from what I hear, like, I think it's... John, one second, John. I mean, to my knowledge, this is like tied to like new stat tracking sort of stuff
Yeah.
they've got going on, and better ways for them to measure telemetry and balance the game, and to bring us features like player profiles and recent match history and all that fun stuff soon, TM. According to them, like, this is all sorts of cool stuff we'll possibly see, and fun stats for them to analyze and make the game better. So it was necessary to them because this old data wouldn't really line up with all their new systems. So as unfortunate as it is in these couple weeks of hell and playing with, like, oh crap, there's like this challenger tier guy on my team and this wood 5 guy on my team, and everything's just all over the place, I think it was necessary. So
I mean, I basically, you said everything I wanted to say. On Friday, on my lunch break, I was like, I'm going to play a quick game of Dongate. This will be fun. Nope, because I queued into Formicid and iOrganic's 5-man team, and we lost in 17 minutes.
Me and Baby Cat did that with, like, just me and him.
yeah,
and
first match,
like,
it was just me and Randy, and I queued up.
Man.
First match of Friday morning, it was like, yeah, we're gonna win games, and then it's just like the
Full
5-second
five-man
countdown, and
pre-made,
just
we're
like,
damn.
oh, Mionhe and Formicid and iOrganic and Tulse, and it's like, please help me, friends. I
But
should have ridden the freeload train to work today.
I
You
know.
should've.
We took
But
the wrong mode of transportation.
my second game that day was, it sucked because, like, I get, like, around an hour for lunch. So my second game, I was like, oh, I'll play another game. And it was like this super awesome, like, probably my favorite game of the entire beta. It was really back and forth. They had our Guardian on 1 health bar. We had theirs at 1 health bar. Like, crazy Amaranth plays, like dodging Raina shields. Like, it was one of my favorite games. So I mean, that was super fun. And then Saturday and Friday night was sort of like a toss-up. There's a lot of games with a lot of people that hadn't played before, and like I'm a pretty nice guy, so like I'm not going to be saying mean stuff. But there were some people saying mean stuff, like telling people to uninstall and that they're shit. And just because of the reset, it brought those type of people together, right? The super
Yeah.
tryhards and like the first timers. And I'm like, if I was that guy, I would uninstall, because like someone just was so mean to me. I would uninstall like right away. And obviously there's no report feature, so it's
Right.
like bringing those types of people together kind of sucks. And then I say I played 20 games this weekend. Maybe 8, 9, 10 of them were just so one-sided because of the reset that it just put a damper a bit on the weekend. But like towards the end of the beta, like Saturday night, things started getting really good. I was seeing the same sort of people, the Bearded Gamer. I played 3 games at the very end of the weekend, and like we won, then we lost, then we won. Like they're close games. Like once it started to level out again, I was having a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big thing, just to sort of call the existing members of the community to, is just when these coming weeks, and the next 2 weeks, it's going to be hard. You might not be in the proper elo bracket yet. You might still be getting matched with people saying, hey, this is my first game, where do I go if I like playing supports? Just helping them out and not raging at them, and understanding, hey,
Okay.
I might lose this. Hi, am I here? I'm here.
Yeah,
yeah,
you lagged a
you're
little
back.
bit there.
I lied. So
You're
yeah,
back.
just my point is just to rise to the occasion and not just rage on people, and make them feel welcome to the community, and really try and help them out. And it's best for everyone. And win rates are win rates. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. But I think,
Dude, it's
hel-
normal
just
games.
helping people. I mean, that's the other biggest thing is
That's the thing you
normal
gotta tell
games.
people. Like, listen, this isn't even a ranked queue. Like, these are normal games. Like, would you be that mad losing oh, I guess, you know what? That's a horrible example, because people get furious losing normal blind pick games in League, and I don't understand it. Like, it's normal games. These are not the serious ones. Like, I know everyone wants to win, but let's go.
It's all about the cups, man. You need those
God.
cups.
You see that
Like,
spread?
I mean, I
Who's
have
got
so
the
many
most
cups. I'm the best ever. Like, dude, the cups are probably gonna go away again at some point. I hate to break it to everybody.
On
We're
release,
probably
we
gonna
all
lose
miss our cups.
all of our wins again. Like,
No, don't say that. I love the cups.
The
I heard a
only
great.
the only thing I will say, League has an out of game progression system, so you have to hit level 30 before you can queue for ranked. So when there is a reset at the start of every season, you're still queued with people that have played the game a lot. And obviously, with this game doesn't have one, at least not yet. So when there is a reset, it's like it's completely there's no rules. It's just you pick expert or novice. Like, I don't even know how that works, but it's a
No
little
rules,
more
no
hectic.
confidence.
So I'm hoping if there is another reset,
okay,
I'm hoping.
be honest. Did you guys
What's
pick
up?
expert?
Oh, I picked novice so I could stomp.
Oh my god. There
Did
was
you
so
really?
much extra picking.
You're
No,
the worst
no.
person ever if you did that.
No, no, I picked expert.
Just picked expert, Scout's honor.
You can't be humble because if you click intermediate, it's you're gonna win. Like at least on the custom game lobbies, like I'm by no means an expert player in League. Season 2 is platinum. Now I don't play League anymore, so I'm like decayed down to copper 5. But like platinum 5 is what, like advanced type thing. But if you put like intermediate expert in those old custom lobbies, you'd go like 30-0. So I mean, you basically have to press expert if you're pretty good at other MOBAs.
I think the sync exploded. Check 1-2. This is sync.
Waiting for sync.
Check 1-2. Randy looks sync now. Are you sync, John?
Hello?
Check 1-2. Okay, I think the sync is fixed.
Sync fix. Call the plumber.
Yeah, I heard something fun on the Waystone stream. I think somebody was calling it the Cup Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Cups.
It was okay though. It settled itself out within a day, and like Saturday night, other than like my very second game of the beta, like Saturday night was way better, a lot more fun.
Backtracking just a second, we were starting
Uh-oh.
Blitz, and then we got lost in Predator.
Oh, Blitz.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
want to
it's a
breeze
good
over it
addition.
because Blitz was cool. I liked it. I think the biggest thing was, I know there were a lot of times where Acids would forget Blitz existed in the game, and he would like, somebody would be blitzing and he would like blow his Kel ult or something like that on them, and they would just like cruise away as if nothing had happened, and he's just like, wait, what? Bugs? Oh, Blitz, I hate you. So it's cool that, it's not Dispel, it doesn't get you out of CC, but if you can like pop it when going into a fight and when one's breaking out, you're going to avoid a lot of CC, and it can really make or break a team fight.
My favorite thing about it is now I don't have to use my ult as a gap close on Cerulean. I can just blitz and run up to whoever I want and flip them.
And
I
not
like
worry about
that
getting slowed.
And then I can save my ult, execute someone, and get my
before,
health back.
like when you try and charge a Nissa or something, and she
Zeri
drops that
ruined
little
my life.
slow.
No, it's Zeri. I would get
Amaranthes.
silenced and Zeri queued.
Oh,
Does
are
it
you
ignore
immune to
silence? I don't. Does it ignore silence?
I gotta
No way.
read the tooltip. I gotta read
Shit,
the
I
That's
thought
tooltip.
not true.
it ignored all CC except suppression.
I gotta look.
I'm pretty sure it's all
immune
CC except
to all disabling
I
effects.
think
except
silence. But the
suppression.
silence is only
Shit.
like a second. So
It's still crucial though. It's the
Yeah,
moment
no.
you're in range.
It messes
I
you
think
up.
I saw Waystone Dibs in chat earlier. Dibs, are you still here? Does it work on silences? I don't think it does.
should work on
I
silence.
think he's gone.
I
He's
think
a
it
big
does
kid.
work on silence.
But yeah, I actually don't take Blitz on my carries because I take Dispel. I find reactionary better than.
Why not
the
both? Level 1 and 10. Next thing you know,
It's the best thing I like about this game is the situation on the fact that you can take different picks. Like Stasis really good against Kindra, Dispel's really good against hard CC.
that is the
so
biggest thing I have an issue with. Is there's so many good spells, and you have to take them at level 1, 10, and 20. It's not like I pick all three at once. Like that'd be easy. I'd just be like, yeah, sure, I'll take like Bastion and then like Dispel and this, and if I want to respec that in game for 400, like maybe I'll swap my Blink out for Blitz or something like that. But now it's like I have to pick it when I need it. So there's a lot of times at level 1, like you run into someone and they're in a bad position.
Yes, he says it'll stop silence.
Oh, it stops silence. Oh, beautiful.
All right, nice.
Thank you,
So
Amber.
back to what I was saying. It's
Oh,
it's
God.
hard having to pick one spell at a time, because at level 1, I like Stagger, I like Bastion. I mean, situationally,
That's the good
I
thing
like
though.
Blink. It's
You're
just
flexible.
like, oh, but it's so hard because then you're stuck with that spell until level 10. You're not going to drop that 400 early to respec it. It's like, it's so crazy. It's so different. I love it. It's one of my
think that's-
favorite
yeah.
things.
Okay, I thought you said it was a problem, and I was gonna say,
No. It's not a problem. It's a personal
okay.
problem for me because like I'm so used to having
yeah.
all my spells available at once. But like I love the fact that there's so many viable options that it's just like not everyone taking Blink at level 1. Like for different situations, for different playstyles, tons of different spells are. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, like, not to bash other games because like League has been my favorite game for such a long time, but like Blink Flash or Blink Flash, Flash Ignite, Flash Exhaust, Flash Smite, Flash this, right? Like I mean,
You play Goofy?
the variance in this game, at least so far has been pretty flippin' cool.
So I think we're out of spells now. We're out of the rolls. We're into the loadout. I still want to see new loadouts. It's all I want in this life.
Yeah, it
I
is. I think it's about time. We've had the same ones every single
That,
week. So.
or they're not releasing any more static loadouts, and they're working on the sick custom loadout feature.
I would like
Custom
that also.
loadout. That's when
I,
guides are gonna get crazy, when people have like their maximum theoretical loadout.
Oh,
I
I'm gonna
take
do so much work on the site.
No,
Oh no.
John, I didn't mean to stress you out.
Mm. Oh god, I'm getting busier at work
Get
too. This is
ready
not...
for those 1% crit loadout builds.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
I'll take 1 crit point. Oh, I'm excited for custom loadouts. Hopefully we see those before 2014.
So just to weigh in really quickly, I suspect that if they're not coming up with new ones, it's because their system is on its way. Because you never want to do throwaway work when you could just work on the real stuff, right? Placeholders are always good, but you don't want to iterate more on placeholders. It's just throwaway, especially on a small team. So it's my hunch that that we're not getting any more. But who knows? On Thursday we'll probably get like a patch with like 10 new fucking loadouts, and they'll be like, "Yeah, John doesn't know shit." Swear bombs. Sorry.
Jeez, John, you're supposed to say those for the after show.
Oh, sorry. Whatever.
We're
I
still
hope my corpse
PG-13.
didn't get molested.
No, no. All right.
That's
how
game
about
lore. That's game lore.
that is game lore. How about items? We saw slight hits to broken build, inevitability price up,
Are we
5
gonna
power
talk
down.
about broken build, or will you
Oh,
explode?
we're about to talk about broken build because I was about to read the word fate. I'm just looking at Randy's face. Fate.
Fate.
Fate. Fate. No.
I started playing AD carry this week. I was like, fate on this, fate on Nissa, fate on Amaranth, or no, wait, not Amaranth. Bakella.
I feel
fate
like
on
we talked about
everybody.
broken build a lot last week. I want to talk
Did
about
we?
it again. I think
I
we
don't
talked
even
about it just
remember.
a bit.
Okay. Let me just
I'm
say.
gonna go
last
out
week-
right now and say fate is not the issue, but it is a factor. It's an enabler to the broken build.
I would like to maybe shelve more of the discussion until next week because I think there's more stuff coming. I think it's still broken. So
I think things are
like,
gonna get fixed, but just
I mean,
1 second
it-
about fate is its range is 450. It goes 450. Base range on a range carry is 550. Theoretically, a melee attacking someone can hit someone behind them 450 units away, 3.5 times as far as they can normally hit something.
Stupid.
A physical range
So
carry
mad.
can
So mad.
theoretically slow someone 25%, do 40% of their damage, apply ruin on hit, not mitigated. It's not like, oh, on hits do 50% of their effect, ruin's only 2%. No. It's going to be doing 4% of your max health in physical damage, and it spreads, it slows, you're going to run away, 1100 theoretical reach, 360 degrees.
how mad are you?
Dude, okay, this is every other like you get a Ravenous Hydra in League, and you're like, oh, look at this cute little splash damage I have. It's like whatever, you know what I mean? You get a Runan's Hurricane in League, you're like, oh, this is cute. I have little arrows coming out of the side of my auto attacks. How adorable! In this game, you get a Fate, and it's like I hit one thing, and everything around it dies and just gets cancer. And I hate the item. It's so annoying because I can't do anything because I try to run at someone's face. Like, I mean, Blitz helped with a little bit with this because you didn't get slowed so much, but it's like it still shreds half your life by the time you get to the range carry, and then they just pop stasis and laugh while their team comes and just finishes you off. I hate Fate.
I think that's another thing is like, people are just sort of like, oh, you just take Tailwind and run at them. It's like their team will take Tailwind and run the same distance away, and oh, Blitz and
Yeah.
run at them. They'll pop Blitz and run away.
Yeah.
It's just like
I think
It just does too many
it makes
things, and the fact that it gives all that range off what you hit, not where the audio attack comes from. If if it did the splash where the auto attack comes from, it's fine. But it's like already at max range, and then it bounces. Like, get out of here!
I want to be clear that I'm saying I don't think Fate is broken. I don't think I'm
Oh, yeah.
fine with it being a go-to item. Like 4th item, you get Fate. It's the same sort of thing with like how we've seen with Blade of the Ruined Kings and Infinity Edges and Bloodthirsters and Phantom Dancers. Like there's always the optimal build, and people will build that. It's just my concern that right now the optimal build does too much and is too strong, and physical range carries do too much throughout the whole game. Like Nissa, starting with Life 2-pot, you're going to be hard pressed to bully her out of. Is it Life 1-pot?
No, it's just interesting. I always start with Hunger. That was an interesting.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Hunger.
I think that's what you meant.
That's what I meant. I meant Hunger. Somehow in my mind I was like, Life is short for lifesteal. Item names, semantics. Hunger 2-pot. Hunger gives you so much sustain in lane as Nissa. Wing clip, just hitting every time for 3. Your range, your auto attacks. Don't get me started on Freeling. You can Q things, you can heal things. Like, she's strong level 1. She hits level 6. Her ultimate's crazy. You can recall it
now?
Oh,
are we talking about Nissa?
I'm mad about Nissa. Like, Fate gets me just riled up onto physical range carries. I'm just showing like why physical range carries are silly, why broken build is silly, why Fate's silly.
Well,
Nissa hits level 6 and has one of the hardest hitting ults in the game. Can be recalled and I want her instant recall to be removed off the ult. I know we've talked about this and have slight disagreements.
No, I agree completely.
You think that it should be removed? Because
I played Nissa this weekend, and I had no idea you could actually recall her ult for like the first 2 games. And I was like, this ult sucks. Then I was like, wait a second, I can recall my ult while it's inside someone. I'm like doing the math in my head. I'm like, that's 350 base damage. Like I've got an aggression, so I'm gonna add like another like 30-40 damage. We're level 6. I'm like, holy shit! I just one-shot this guy. Like it's good. It's I think
because I know people can argue that it's fun that you can recall it, but either increase the maximum range on it, and,
or mid-range,
and then let it be recalled past the 50% point or something. But I think like there's sometimes where I forget to recall it, and I throw it out. It hits someone at max range, and then when it's recalling, because it waited coming back, someone forgot that it was out that far, and walk into it, and I pick up like a sweet double or triple, and I just throw my hands in the air.
That's like, a lot more exciting.
I love it. It's more exciting. I think it's more fun, and it adds more skill to the skill shot. But that aside, Nissa's ult is crazy. She has maximum burst potential of like 1540 plus the 3 point something of her power. She builds a lot of power as it is.
Mm-hmm.
She has one of the highest theoretical bursts in the game, highest auto attacks, and with even without being able to hit everyone and shred everyone's health, like with Fate and slows and everything, she would still be one of the strongest shapers in the game. So it's just my concern that if physical carries are meant to be strong at 5 items, they need to be weaker from 1 to 11. Like if they start shining at mid to late game, that's great. Make them crap in lane early game and make them work for those gladiator stacks.
Well, they have to be good in lane because you have no resource systems, though. Like, if Fenmore and Amaranth can just walk up and bully you back to the base, it's kind of like, what do you do? Like, you need to be able to stand toe-to-toe.
I think you can stand toe-to-toe. No, toe-to-toe in terms of, like, the same way Fenmore is. Fenmore's not good until mid or late game. There's no real disputing that. I think if physical range carries were given a similar treatment where they... What am I looking for? You could even give it so they can do additional damage to lane minions with the Gladiator passive or something to reduce their early base damage, but still give them the same last-hitting ability.
I feel like it's pretty close right now. Like
it's
trading
so
with
close.
The caster
it's so
close.
It's so close to being right is the thing. It's just like there's a number of ways that you could fix it, but it's hard to get it to a finer balance than it already is. It's so close, but they still just feel too strong throughout the whole game. Like throughout the game, they're going to be in the top percentage of powerful shapers for early, mid, and late game. Like if I were to rate shapers on their ability to play in early, mid, and late, like physical range carries would be at the top of all of those lists.
Yeah, but range carries do kind of suck behind. Like when you're behind, you don't have enough damage to run through tanks, and you're not going to be in a position to kill squishies. Where I find like Kindra and Amaranth, even when you're a little bit behind.
That's your fault for picking a range carry.
But I don't know. I think they're in a pretty good spot. I think they're in a good spot. But that's, I mean, it's opinion.
Give me
opinion.
10 melee shapers and let's have a man battle.
Just to go to chat for a second and address a couple of things. To Bearded Gamer says any shaper with some kills is just as deadly as any other. I fully agree with that. Like, there's sort of like a 3-kill threshold. If you're 3 kills up on the second, like, the highest enemy, if you're 3 kills ahead of them, you're the scariest people in the game. So I really like that, is that any shaper can be viable if you build a comp around it and can get some kills. Randy looks like he's got something to say.
No.
You look like you're suppressing
He's
laughter.
glaring at the chat as far as I can tell.
He's glaring.
They're picking up.
I do agree with you. Like I've even seen Raina's carry because they got ahead, and then they're unkillable, and they've got like glory and
they're
like
unkillable and
damaging
they're up
item.
in an item. So yeah. I think it's cool. You can like start, comping around whoever's getting the kills.
Heck, even Dibs can carry now with that buff. We missed it talking about it, but Dibs is
Dibs is beautiful.
Oh, Dibs is a little ball of
Dibs is
terror
the new
now.
hotness.
I lost like 1v1 to Dibs. I was so mad. I was like, I'm the carry. What is this shit? And he's just
He can't even
pounding
pop
me.
it. If he could pop his own. Pop stacks. Change his archetype from support to mage. Mage, Dibs. Mage, Dibs. Mage. No? No mage Dibs?
Dibs is also like
We lag?
Dibs with like a
We
force
lagged for a
bubble,
second.
Raina, or maybe even sorry, I was gonna say like Dibs with his shield, force bubble shields, Fenmore as well. Are we still lagging?
Yeah.
No, we're fine. We're back
We
now.
lose sync.
Oh,
We
anyway.
lost sync. It's going to take a second to get sync, but I think we can keep talking.
Oh, I was gonna say just shield synergy with Dibs in aggressive lanes is an interesting pick that I'd like to see further explored. That's it.
Back up a second to Mionhe and Organic talking about losing lane and range physical carries getting shafted. I do agree with that. I think physical range carries have a hard time, but if it's just your lane that is lost, and your other lane should enable you to drag the game out to 30 minutes and get you to your build, at which point the game will swap to you.
Well, I just want to say that when tanks get ahead and carries get behind, it's really tough to get back because your team can't tower dive because you're not tanky enough. The enemy team can tower dive, and like I find the carries get made irrelevant for a significant chunk of the game. Like you said, if you can hold out late, you'll be fine. But that's a tough proposition.
But that's the thing. Once you go full late game, tanks and bruisers, you're useless. You can't get to anyone then.
Yeah.
Like,
I
so
mean,
there's the trade-off. Like, I mean, I get it, and that's like part of it when it comes to balancing and all that, trying to get all those things to work together, where everything kind of has a smooth, curve to it. But I don't know. I kind of like the little bit of the rock paper scissors aspect, where it's like a mage will beat a ranged AD will beat a bruiser, but a bruiser will beat a mage or whatever. Like, there's got to be little bits of counterplay here and there.
Yeah, there's certainly things that are stronger against one another. I think if anybody gets shafted in lane, they have a bad time. It doesn't matter who you're playing. If you lose
That's
lane, you have a bad time. That's irrelevant to physical range carries or not. And you normally do have your other lane to fall back on. If you both lose your lanes, you're going to have a bad time.
You're probably gonna lose the game.
And that's how games work. So I don't think that's an issue.
But
It's the
also
win
too,
condition.
that's a strategy thing too, because you could focus on doing other things rather. Because what people do when they get behind is they're just like, well, now I just want to sit in my lane and farm, and try and get money back. But like sometimes that's not necessarily the best decision, especially in this game, the way the map is designed. It's like people are constantly crossing back and forth because of how squished the middle of the map kind of feels, with both lanes being right there. So if you really make that conscious effort, like we did that in one of our games, we were losing horribly. I don't know if you remember the game or not, BDNA. Before we all took a break, we were losing terribly, and then we just we waited back and we started catching a person here and a person there. Then Buell went full sunder, and everything was fine. But that's we couldn't just sit there and farm in lane anymore. People
You have to start
want to do
roaming
that when
as
they get
5 when you
behind.
lose everything.
Yeah, when you're losing, it's listen, no, it isn't. No more sitting here being passive.
Laning
and farming.
phase is over.
It is over.
You've got to go for the desperation plays and parasites and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
you got to start making plays. That's the thing.
I find the game offers you a reasonable amount of tools to make plays. I mean, the map is you know, with the wards, you can find people's gaps in their wards. If they recall while their ward's about to cool down, you're gonna find map vision loss or gaps or whatever. But I would really like to see a teleport style spell in the game like now. Like this Thursday, I'd be super happy if it was there because watching the international and watching like global teleports, people teleporting in, like
Teleports are fun.
it just turns the tide, and it's so exciting to watch when people teleport. Because like you're like, oh, they're losing this fight. How are they gonna get out of this? And then it's like, boom, teleport, and like a losing fight, but the team's got like two teleports come in and win. Like there's some excitement there that you just don't get. And like going back to the league as I always do, like their map is so spread out that it's hard to feel relevant. It's hard to make plays sometimes. And with Dongate having such a narrow laning map and fast access to objectives, I think that the chance of making plays is pretty high, but I'd really like to see Teleport come in to like really give your team, if you're like a better team but you like lose early kind of by mistake, but like you're coordinated and you make big teleporty style plays, like I'd like to see it. But maybe they've iterated on Teleport internally and didn't like it, I don't know. But
I think I heard them talking about teleport the other day on stream, and it's certainly something that's being thought about.
I'd like to see it because Dibs' global ult doesn't have the feel because he's a support. He
Well,
comes
it's not
in
enough because it's only one. That's the thing. It's one guy. Like he can come turn that 2v2 fight in your favor, but you know, it doesn't have the same effect as a teleporting Kindra into a fight. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like teleports. The two things I want to see the most in Dongate, just to like, I don't know if I want to segue into this, but like, I want to see a teleport spell and I want to see a blitz hook. But I want to see teleport spell more.
So how about this? When Raina's shield is active, her Q turns into a hook.
Teleports
no.
everyone across the
And
map.
teleports everyone across the map.
No, Rain is too strong.
Hooks on hooks on hooks on hooks.
It's on hooks.
I want to see. I heard Gasty talking about both of these things, and it makes me really excited. I know that he really likes Meepo and things like that, to my knowledge, and I would love some multi-unit control, hardcore micro, like not Annie, Tibbers, Mordekaiser, Ghost nonsense.
Where
like,
you're just right-clicking while pressing Alt.
like adding a hotkey that switches you between one target to the other, and having something where you like play as two separate characters at once and have full control on that. I think that would be cute, as well as something with just I heard them saying something like an invoker style thing, not with invoker's buttons, but like 10 plus abilities. I think that would be awesome, as well as just something with just lots of abilities. And
well,
it'd be good.
For Invoker, just to address that one quickly, I think Invoker is a bad way of doing it, and you have Sona in League that does it in a like kind of like a really not new, but like super simple, right? The order in which you cast your spells gives you a different passive on your auto attack. Right. But I mean, there's some tactical play there. You like, especially when you're cycling your combo, like QWE for a slow, like QEW for the damage reduction. Like there's really neat stuff there because of the debuff. And just the way I've been seeing Dongate sort of grow is they seem to be like, here's what Dota's doing, here's what League's doing. Like, let's grab what's good here, what's good there, and make something like right here in the middle that's like really fun. Like, for example, Raina is a tank, right? Like, Raina is the coolest tank I've ever seen in any MOBA. So if they were to add, what are we talking about? Whatever our subject was.
I don't think Sona is a good apt comparison to Invoker. Something that I think is better is even Jace is a better example, who has multiple stances, and both of those give him more than
that's what I'm saying.
4 total abilities.
Dota's over here, League's over there. I think somewhere in the middle is probably the best from like a design perspective.
I don't want it to be where like you Dance Revolution your keys, and if I like Quas Wex Vex my keyboard in the right order, I get a Sunstrike. Like that's not how I want it to work. I mean, even something like I have 4 slots, and depending on like what sort of jungle creep I nibble on, like a Nunu sort of thing, but instead of a passive, it's more of a Doombringer thing. Whatever his name is in
That would be
Dota,
really cool for
he
this
gives
game
you a
because
different ability, and that
there
way you
are
can have
so
like
many different
lane
jungle
creeps,
camps.
melee, like range creeps, melee creeps, striders, all that stuff. Each one has a different ability, and then you can choose what your kit is, and interactions, and passives, and energy types, and maybe even 6 slots, and maybe your ultimate gives you a stance, and you can change, and then you can have 6 total abilities, and
While
you
we're
heard it
going
here. Baby Cat's
full-
theoretical shaper.
while we're going full off the deep end, though, I mean, with the loadout system, because we don't know anything about it, there's certainly something they could throw in there. Right, one component of your loadout could be like exactly what you said. Because like in League, you've got Victor's got like an item that's only usable by him. Maybe you have like a loadout that's like specific to this person that can shove him in either direction.
Oh no,
I
that's
don't
crazy.
know.
Like you're forced into that like loadout. That's weird. I think it makes
Well,
more
just
sense
take
with
up one
static
slot.
load. Oh, like a big, if there was like like the quintessence portion of your custom loadout.
Well, I mean, what you're saying, you wanted to customize your character's kit from in the game.
Sure.
Obviously, unless you're going to add new UI, you need to somehow fit it into the rules of the game.
I think it could be fit currently.
I'll fit you
Well,
into the rules.
It
Well,
would
we're-
obviously be all new mechanics, because whatever system they sort of implement for 10 ability shaper, things would get out of hand. I know that they don't want the Dance Dance Revolution ability forming.
Well, did you some MMO I played with them last year, they have like combos, right? Like casting Q would open up like your next 3 spells to do like a different combo. If you really simplified it, kind of, I think it was at Guild Wars, was it, that did combos?
I mean, Lee Sin does that to an extent.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
It'd be I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things they can do, but I don't know. It's a really tough it's a tough design to make. Like a lot of the League shapers with 6 spells always come out of the gate like super overpowered. So
There's fine tuning to be had, but I think just and that aside, like I'd like to see shaper design, which has never been done before. Introduce something completely new.
Yep.
Because I just think really unique shapers that are difficult to play are a fun, or just make you think differently about it. Like everybody's so used to something, it would be hard at first, and it would be hard for a new player. But like MOBAs are hard to people that have never played one before. So I think new mechanics and new ways to look at shapers, heroes, champions, whatever you call them, would be a great and welcome addition to the game.
yeah. No, that's Raina's got me super excited for what's to come. Like they've done something completely new. And even like low level stuff like Nissa's squirrel is
This is
seemingly
I
squirrel's
want to
adorable.
kill that squirrel.
Oh, don't even get me started on the squirrel is another contributing factor to why Nissa is so out of hand. Let the squirrel be killed. Give it like a 10
At
to
least let it
15.
get scared
like
out of the bush.
Yeah.
You got 5 people in it.
Nah.
Give it that poro mechanics, which
No,
you
it's
know.
fine.
Yeah.
And give it
It's
a,
fine.
give it
Beat
a
the squirrel and kill it.
health bars, 15
Freya
second
can wear his little
respawn.
hat.
Oh, that
Squirrel hat.
what is the squirrel's name? I know it has a name. I'd have to go read
Tala.
it. Tala. I want the Tala hat Freya skin, please.
That
Reverse Nissa.
anyway. Oh, a giant squirrel.
Some tiny.
What do you call it? It's not cosplay. What's the when you just I forget. But no, I like the playstyle. Like you have to think about the game completely differently when you play Nissa because you need to pick your routes and like dodge bushes because you want to keep your squirrel somewhere else. Like I like stuff like that. If they can keep doing stuff like that, I'll be really happy with the game.
All right.
Free.
Anyway,
What else? What do you know about those smart cast range indicators?
Oh, I
They're in
didn't
the
even
game.
do it.
they're in
I-
the game. People ask for them. They're in the game.
People
That's
asked and they received. I also I don't like them personally. I felt a little like sluggish and like seeing the telemetry pop up for just a second. Maybe come on.
Later.
How about a slider for how long you have to hold to see it? Because I don't mind having to hold 0.3, 0.4. Waystone, please.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the same reason why I don't use the range indicators in League. There's like that little extra delay, and when you're used to just regular smart casting, like it's too much. So
Yeah,
I didn't use it.
use it because of like just I tested it in an Amaranth game and I was like,
Cerulean doesn't have any skill shots.
Cerulean is all skill shots. His shield,
The reason I don't use Smartcast is because I'm Smartcasting to be as fast as possible, and with enough practice, my accuracy will hit the same level, so I don't turn it on.
I think it's an interesting feature to turn on for people used to Smartcasting but playing a new shaper and they want to say, oh, I'm not entirely used to my ranges yet. Let me press and hold this down for a second just to check that range without having to mouse over it. I think it's a great feature.
I'm glad it's there. I just not
Yeah.
for me.
I'd like a delay slider, please.
A delay slider.
slider's interesting.
The delay slider I don't think makes a lot of sense because it's meant to mimic how long you're holding your key down for. So the delay would be.
But right now, even if you tap E to cast Amaranth's bubble instantly, you will still see the telemetry pop up for a second. Like it's not like if you smartcast, you don't see the telemetry. The telemetry pops up and it frazzles my brain.
Now the problem with that is if you were holding it down, you'd be very frustrated. Okay, slider, gotcha. Never mind.
That's
Moving
why
on.
there's a slider.
Moving on.
Slider, please.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha.
How about those
alright.
new ping graphics?
Yeah, that
Beautiful.
wasn't even mentioned, and everyone like when we first started playing, we're like, oh, everyone was like that. That was the most exciting thing that I saw. I was like, oh, good new shaper, and look at these pings, guys.
These pings
look
are so
fantastic.
handsome.
Pings are beautiful.
I still want like just full on like radio voice communication, like shaper missing ping, like please.
I want there's a ward in there, ping.
Minesweeper
Like a
ping.
pink one.
Mine,
yeah,
like a little
don't-
flag,
that is
a
bad
little
one.
red flag.
You're gonna ruin my gank. Don't go in there.
Yeah, Minesweeper flag would be cool as long as you have the ability to cancel it. And then obviously you need to find a way of removing troll / allied like harmful people to litter the map. Or maybe you can only have one. There's some stuff they could do to make it
You
work.
could have one at a time because then you would it's weird. I was thinking of more just like a temporary ping. Maybe it lasts twice as long as the other ping markers.
Yeah, you got some usability issues. And the other thing with the Minesweeper ping is like if people don't Minesweeper ping, you've got like rage potential, and then people putting the wrong
Why didn't
place,
you minesweep
flaming.
ping your bush? Why aren't you keeping track of where their
Yeah, I
wards
mean-
are going?
It's a serious concern to have, right? I mean,
It is.
if you provide the tools that people don't use, it's just like another avenue of frustration and enables misplays.
Oh, I'm not
But-
saying it should like stay there permanently. I'm just
No,
saying
no,
like, dude, I just saw him ward that bush, so don't go that way.
Right?
Like, just like no, don't go there, ping.
Another thing
But
I'd like
not
to
like a
see is
retreat
like
ping, because it's like I want you to come gank for me, but I just don't want you to go in that bush.
all
Oh, I thought
around,
that was a
idiot.
go in ping. Oh, I thought that was like
all
I should go.
for-
Yeah,
here.
that's what I mean. Like, oh, I thought you meant they're in there, so I
Yeah.
went and no.
Because I think the way it works in League is you've got your 4 radio pings that come off of Alt or Control, and then you've got retreat and attack pings. And I'd like to see the control, if they introduce like a radio ping sort of system, the control pings being the reverse or different functions from the offensive one. So like, whereas you might have on your Alt radio ping, like I'm coming to gank, on your control radio ping you have like they're coming to gank here, you know, something like that.
I guess I don't like radio ping because like I never got into it. I use the G ping and the V ping. I think are the hotkeys. Like I
got
use
used
my
to the radio ping.
Yeah.
I think
So-
I like radials because you get used to like moving your mouse in those directions, and
Yeah, you make
it's,
like the L.
it's the fastest way to do it.
what I really want to know is when we can start drawing dicks on the minimap.
Oh, and that brings me. Oh, how about this? Invoker Shaper, you hold down a button and it pops something up, and then depending on the shape you draw, casts one of your spells. And you level the 3 spells. Each spell has just like a giant wall of text that takes up
Like
full screen.
runes or
And
something?
you read this book, and it tells you how all your 50 abilities different work.
The next-
And then like you draw a star and just like star storm, just
Draw
like
a pentagram
make it
and
rain.
light 4 candles around
Yes,
the computer
no,
chair.
no, yes.
I wish
Hail
we're
Mount.
on like one of those
Hail.
panel talent shows. I could just like buzz you off with your bad ideas now.
This is the future.
Only on
the
Xbox
guy to come
One.
out with the broom and sweep him off.
Sweet baby
A
cat
ru-
off the
Giant
stage.
hooks. Ugh.
Oh, that was well acted. I like that.
I want giant hooks.
I mean, if you're going to commit to extra UI resources, like having rune type things, I mean that would like a rune caster type thing. At least is something that I haven't seen in a bit.
Yes,
right? Like putting down like runes and hmm, hmm, maybe. I
Maybe.
think it could work.
What else we
But we're
got?
to, yeah. I think we're done the
Are we
patch
done?
notes.
Are we
We got to be
done?
done the patch notes.
It's midnight.
Oh my god, this is a
Are we
long
preaching?
podcast.
We're
Wow, yeah.
preaching.
I think we should have preach.
Did
This
you guys
is
want to talk about esports?
No.
Oh, the after
Well-
show. I mean, we can get into in depth with esports. And by
Mm.
esports, I mean there is an actual conversation about esports right now because the international just happened, and it's huge for the esports scene in general, the MOBA genre, and I think a lot can be learned from what Valve did at the international and what they can bring to Dawn
To
Gate.
go back to my like dick measuring thing on stream here, like with Valve being over here and League being over here, like after watching LCS and the international, both of their clients have so many cool things and flaws with their spectator interface that like I just want to take them together and like mash them into like this perfect spectator UI, and I hope Dawngate just steals it because they should. It's like the Valve one has problems, the Riot one has problems, and like there's a perfect solution, and it's literally just like the League one with every cool thing of like the gold indicators from Valve, and I hope they steal it.
I think
Just
I
these-
think League stealing the in-game spectating.
Oh, they're gonna do it. League will steal it before Dawngate does, I bet. But they should.
League showed. I mean, I don't know if it was a classy move or if they were afraid of the competition, but the fact that they didn't do LCS this weekend too was a nice,
Did you?
bond.
Do you know
or
what they
a
actually
nice,
did?
Nice gesture.
They moved. There's a post on the League subreddit. They had like a company retreat in like the Caribbean with like hundreds of rioters down in like hotels in the Caribbean doing some like team building thing. It was interesting, but it was definitely classy, like you said. Not running LCS on the same weekend as the international and the
Yeah, 'cause
whatever
listen,
the StarCraft one is. It's smart. It was cool.
Like esports doing good in Dota or something else, like that's good for everything. You know what I mean? That's good for all the games.
Yeah, I think it's good for everyone. My biggest thing was I love like the League camera control. If you just are watching it on Twitch, like they've got their dedicated camera guy, whereas the casters for Dota were a little more sporadic. And the commentary also catered differently. I think Riot does a really good job catering to the mid tier of people that have like a basic understanding and making people who have no clue feel included, and making people that do know what's going on feel included in the commentary as well. Whereas Dota was just like all out, like if you've never played 100 hours of this game, prepare to be lost and watch a lot of particle effects. Which I think that's sort of the nature of Dota to an extent, is it's a lot more you need to know everything and all these mechanics to even play the game. So it's a trade-off. But also just in-game spectating is it's beautiful. That's how I watched the international, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Dota's in-game spectator mode is fantastic. I think League has a better Twitch-style interface. I know, like, just to, like, put people in, like, a row of how noob they are, like, I'm at, like, a 3. I know, like, sort of what's going on. Amber, my girlfriend, she's at, like, a 1. So, like, we're watching it together, and, like, it's a little unwatchable for people that don't know what's going on. But it's hard to say. I can't get that perspective on League because I know too much about it. So I don't know. I mean, we're getting way ahead. I mean, this is the Dawngate podcast, but like I hope like no jokes aside, like they'd be like, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. We're stealing all of that, and that's our spectator mode whenever it comes out. So.
And I think just some of those features are to be expected. I think they're cool and universal enough that it wouldn't be like directly stealing. Also, the ability to they've had this since the international one. Well, I guess the client wasn't out then, but it's been in the game since the beginning where you could spectate and then watch from player perspective and see everybody like their individual mouse clicks and everything, which is really cool. And I think they released the VODs as well, so you can download that and watch like matches back over and over from every different player's perspective and see exactly where they click and where they move their mouse and how they play the game and where they drag their screen around. So I think it makes it even a better tool for learning, because you can watch somebody play on Twitch, but like watching the international, you're not going to learn a lot about, or watching LCS, you're not going to learn a lot about the game, because as opposed to just watching somebody's regular channel, because from their channel you watch their perspective and sort of their thought process. But that's just everything.
There is a flip side to that coin though, because like when they're playing in a professional match and you get the access to the replay, seeing where they're pinging and like sort of like how their team's communicating during the game via pings, I don't know if it's sort of like crossing a line of like revealing their thought process and stuff like that, but it is a minor criticism.
Well, it comes down to it would be available to everyone, so everyone would have that opportunity to just overanalyze all of their opponents and whatnot.
Yeah, I would.
Obviously, I wouldn't ever release, the team audio chat or any of that, but in-game would be fine. You could even get into removing pings if you wanted to go that far. But I think it would be a cool feature.
It's a balance. Yeah,
I think it's more of a balance for the LCS teams than it, like, not Dota 2, but just like, the issue would be for LCS teams, not me just spectating some random guy in a solo queue game, because then the Koreans will snipe us, and how are we supposed to chant USA, USA as we lose the World Finals? Team America, please.
It's two completely different boats, right? Riot's got like 5.7 million over 2 seasons or 2 splits. Like Dota puts it all in like one basket. So like seeing their audio and then not having to play against them in an international for another year is not a big deal. But if I'm in LCS and like I would see their in-game audio or pings, and I'd like be playing them again the next day, and that happening week after week after week. Yeah, I can certainly see. I mean, different strokes, right? So. Waystone Games is here.
So lost in the esports. We gotta look good. Get back to Dongate.
We're not talking about Dota anymore.
But no, I think that the international was really cool, and it's nice to see just the growth of esports, and I hope Dongate has similar success in the future, but not the immediate future. Future is the keyword. Stop asking about them esports. Future. The
down the line. Like let's get out of closed beta first.
Out of
before we start
open
giving
beta.
out trophy designs.
I haven't seen a trophy design posted yet.
Well, someone needs to do one because
it'll be there tomorrow.
Guys, listen, I know there's not an esports scene in Dawngate yet, but I went ahead and made these couple trophies designs. Don't upvote them.
Don't upvote them.
I just wanted to show it. Don't upvote it.
If a metalworker just made some nice trophies, I'd lose my mind.
I actually did win like a customized metalwork trophy once, and it was pretty badass.
Oh.
What was it for?
Racing.
Racing?
Yeah, an enduro race.
The items would be a little harder actually, since there are all these vitalities. They're not like you're not going to see the what's the Dota one, the Aegis, and the season 2 for League is a cup. But yeah, I guess you wouldn't be able to do your Infinity Edge style, it's not quite the same lore-ish type items. Inevitability. What is that? I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Maybe we'll just have to steal people's souls and model them into the
what is inevitability? Now as I bring it up, it's like a skull with a mustache.
It's red and green and
yeah.
It's a purple skull and crossbones with a little green background or something.
Alright, so as we get into the final repreach, was there any things on your mind you wanted to get out in the podcast that we have not already gotten out tonight? I know I got my time, but sort of just we had our fate and some monologues.
Nope. Other than the Wheeler reset, this was my favorite weekend of the beta so far. It continues to get better.
Yeah, I had a blast playing with viewers and stuff.
Yeah, I know Randy did that, and he had his own little viewer freeload train going.
Yeah, we won every game. It was crazy.
Playing with Gooiness, his wife, and
some other people.
I know that we even played with Ragnafjord, and we brought him into Vent, and he was just so Swedish, and it was beautiful.
So Swedish.
I guess we can just take a couple minutes to pimp our site before we get into the after show. We do have tier list updates coming.
No, not my wife. I don't have a wife.
No,
Randy.
Randy's
I was playing with a guy who was watching, and he was like, "Can my wife come and join?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then his wife was way better than he was.
Oh,
I was like,
shots
wife
fired.
Time. Wife is my jam.
We've got tier list updates coming. I guess since the last podcast, we released and announced the counterpicking feature.
Oh yeah,
that just came out on Friday, I think. So we've got counterpicking. So if you guys play the game and you feel really strongly about counter picks and stuff like that, and you hate the newbie players that know nothing about the game that use resources like that. And I know that I sometimes find them useful when I'm like, oh, somebody's making me play top lane and I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Obviously, it's a little unnecessary with blind pick, but even just in terms of, oh, who should I lane with? We've got that set up so you can register over on MOBA-Champion.com, head over to our counterpick page and start upvoting and downvoting things that you feel, confident about to try and help create, the best resource for people to use when laning and laning against other opponents. So
the best usage you're gonna get of it now, obviously, like you said, blind pick is how we play. But the lane combos, like people that are good with, that's gonna be a good use. Also, I don't know how the Zeke tournament works. I don't know if they're doing bans or whatever, but I mean, if you're like a new team trying to think of like what to ban against, hey, this Shaper's weak specifically against this one, right? Like, Raina's really strong against Amaranth, so ban her or something, and then it's also got links to the guides. But
we've got links to the top guides as well.
Yeah, but mostly it's community-driven, so people need to log onto the site and, like, post their opinions. And one of the nicest thing about being a community-driven page is that, unlike the tier list, which we manage with sort of the input of a few other players, this is completely organic and community-driven. So it spreads across bronze. You have the bronze equivalent all the way through the challenger equivalent, like, players. So no one's opinion means more than anyone else's. So it's very collective. So
it gives a nice overall feel for the entire game, which will be interesting for us to monitor and see where people are voting certain things and where there's disagreement. So it'll be a cool community for us to monitor.
Shoot, there's one other thing I had to say, but I forget.
What else? You implemented smaller names and smaller icons on the guides, which just make them look sexy as can be.
Oh my god, they're so sexy. Sexy guides.
I feel like
it probably ruined some people's guides, but at the expense of looking awesome. Actually,
we have tooltips on the patch notes now as well.
Yeah. Like there's last week was full of visual updates, and then the counterpicks thing. The original site idea, like day one of Dawngate, I was like, what kind of Dawngate website do I want? I was like, I'm not very smart at computer web. I'm a programmer, but I'm not like a web developer. I was like, I'll make a counterpicks page. So like my actual root folder of like the actual site database is like counters. So I mean, it's a feature I wanted to get out for a while.
And I guess the other feature that we just came out with yesterday is the contests page, which is for Dawngate beta keys.
Yep.
Is that working now?
Oh my god, I was so embarrassed.
Everyone was just raging at you on the Reddit. Like, I guess they only had one. I
got an angry email actually, like accusing me of being a big scammer. Well, what happened was I wrote the key manager first, which requires you to be an admin, so that I can add keys to the contest, and then I copy and pasted the code into the enter the contest. So I clicked on my account. I was like, oh, it works perfect. Ship it, and then no one else could enter because no one else was an admin. So yeah, then I went to bed. So
woke up to angry emails, but it is working now, and if you have valid unused Dawngate beta keys, I believe we have it set up so you can email those unused keys to John so we can help redistribute those to the community for you, so we don't have to have 100 posts on the subreddit saying I have one key to give away, or you don't have to do an individual random giveaway. Sort of, we'll be the middleman and manage your key giveaway for you.
Yeah.
Please give us keys to give away.
Yeah.
Like
you don't have to. I don't want to be like, give me your keys, you suck.
Give me your keys. You can't give them to your friend. We need to redistribute them randomly.
Give me your keys if you know what's good for you, boy.
If you get one and you like the podcast and you like the website, just send it over, and then you'll be at least guaranteed that people that are going to grab it are going to be people that are interested. Because the time it takes to copy and paste a key off the website on first person clicking the new tab, it's a little less fun than a giveaway, and this way we can like really get it in the hands of like hardcore community members, because no one else will even know the page exists. But don't let me stop you. Like don't be like, you suck, you're a bad fan if you don't give it keys.
Give me your keys.
Yeah, I mean if you want to post on the subreddit, go right ahead, for sure. There's actually I actually did see kind of, I just want to touch briefly on this kind of like a scummy type behavior where I saw people on their stream giving away accounts that were registered to the beta that they were using the 200 Waystone key from, and that made me so furious. I was like, every time there's a 200 key, people are like, oh, I didn't get it, and there's people like coming in and like snagging it just to like whore out their stream. Oh, and it made me so mad. But
There are account giveaways. That's not okay. That's not good.
no, I mean if it was an account you made with a key that you got from like an actual giveaway, sure, yeah. It made me so mad. Like, you guys are denying people that chance to play this game because you're greedy. Anyway,
Huh.
and then organic, yeah, no, different story. But yeah,
Different story.
never mind. Different story. Later time. Not important. Not
Are we
important.
signing off?
It's Wendy's time this week, actually.
No. No. No.
What? Not Wendy's time. I'm not gonna make the Wendy's word. Don't worry about that. But we are getting some food.
I was bracing myself. I've actually seen just a little minute to pimp the community, so this makes it into the VOD. The subreddit is starting to get better discussion every day. I know there was a couple weeks where it was just nothing but the top 10 posts who were looking for group and key giveaways, but now I'm seeing a lot of yeah, check out my stream. But I see a lot of like item and key discussion, and I see like this one defense pen versus magic resist, and
Oh yeah, that was a good thread actually.
yeah,
I
there's
like
just
seeing quality.
I see a lot of people posting cool quality posts as well. There's always good discussion happening over on the official forums as well. So lots of places to take place in discussion and all that fun stuff.
There's Shaper survey on there now. There's good articles from Dawn Source. So there's lots of good stuff up on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I think the Dawn Source articles they're always a pretty good read. It's simple to understand for new players, and it also offers some good complex points that maybe players that have played a lot haven't thought about. So little shout out to their articles.
Yep,
We
definitely.
give a shout out to the winners of the Zeke tournament too. Team
Oh,
Don't Feed,
Those two?
Organic, or right? They won.
How did they even win?
Organic and Tulsa
Really?
Ray, Dalaran.
They're the
Oh,
worst
I'm
players. I've
A
never
bunch
I've
of
never
bozos,
seen
if
them
you ask
win
me.
again.
I queued into them and beat them in 17 minutes right at the start
Listen,
of the...
they just Q dodged against me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they saw
yeah.
my name pop up for the first 5 seconds, and they're like, "Oh, can't do it, can't do it." No, congrats to them.
Yeah.
Zeke tournament's cool. I don't know if this is a series of tournaments. Is it actually a
I have
Tetrakill
no
series?
idea.
I hope there's more of those. Those are always fun. I know that we had a lot of people that were work schedules and whatnot, so we unfortunately did not get to participate. But I think it's awesome that those are going on, and gives people a little taste of what the competitive scene could sort of feel like. So, and that aside, they're even just good matches, because I know matchmaking was a little kerfuffle this last week. To be able to take a break and be playing against other arranged fives and players of similar skill and taking the game really seriously, it's awesome.
There is a Zeke tournament every week, so people be sure to check that out if you have a team or you're looking for a team, and you can do that and help the esports community grow.
Competitive community, please. It's not esports until there's money and people in suits.
It's true.
So,
Suits and
suits
corporations, to gut it and make it a shell of itself and take all the love out of it. I can't wait.
But yeah, I think it's a good, fun place to get some good matches going.
I will tattoo Razor across my forehead. I don't care. Shave it into my beard.
Nice. Yeah, but I think I'm out of stuff to talk about.
So you have no parting words?
Check out the Asiago Chicken Ranch sandwich. It's good enough to bring Amber to Wendy's.
Oh, what, Wendy's? How about you? Any final words, Randy?
No, I'm gonna go drink some more iced tea though.
Iced tea and cigarettes. The
it's
power
time.
that
That's why.
fuels him.
I've been very good. I didn't smoke at all this show, so now it's about time.
Wonder if we could get sponsored by McDick's. Anyways, this concludes Money Pig Podcast, episode 11. Thank you guys so much for coming out and watching this evening. It's always fun to have you guys. And if you're watching this on the VOD, come out and join us live on Monday nights to take part in the discussion and maybe have some of your questions answered and analyzed. So, thanks.
Yeah.